I guess just in case just in case I couldn't participate. I had one that I made, and I intended to send it yesterday, but I sent it this morning, so it should be in your email if you want to just see what I said then.
I'm going to check my email.
Okay.
Okay, I just sent everybody. This was the spreadsheet that.
Deep Pardes.
Yeah.
Okay. You were at the emergency room all night with a friend?
Pardon? I'm not hearing anybody.
Okay, so who is telling us about a spreadsheet?
Oh, I just sent it to you. This is what
I'm not hearing anybody either.
Oh, okay.
I'm not hearing Mary Ellen.
You're not hearing me? Oh, hold on. Let me try this.
Okay. Is that you, Mary Ellen?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, Mary Ellen.
Yeah,
I can hear you.
I hear.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
good. Okay, what I sent you was the spreadsheet, and I sent it to everybody. Denise already has it. This was the spreadsheet that she and I worked on.
What is yours?
And you'll have to open it and look at. I'm opening it now too. We had our system for doing things, but we didn't connect. If you see on the far left, there are tabs at the bottom, and I think that's the page that might have opened up. The tabs at the bottom, the last paid at conference shows the list of people that paid there. But I don't know who paid on PayPal. So that's what she's got to add.
That's what we need Denise to help us with.
There are 28 people on that list, but some of them I know had paid or had registered ahead of time. For example, Luther and Claudia and all of her folks had paid. Had registered. So that's 5 or 4 people because Alonso Jose did not come. But there actually 5 people because Rocha was there.
Okay, so Mary Ellen, I have a question for you. You mentioned that the tabs at the bottom, it's the farthest left one that we have to. I don't know how it came up on yours, but there are those arrows that you might have to click on to make it move. If you can't see the one on the far left, there's one that says PayPal and then latest and then paid at conference. Okay. You want paid at conference. All right, I've got that. I see 28
names.
28 names there. So does that mean there were?
Yeah, but actually you're right. There are 27.
That means
there are 27 because the first one is the title. Yes, but like I say, that's not accurate because, first of all, it only includes a couple of people that paid at PayPal, and that was Luther, because Denise had not received payment. So it's a little maybe difficult. And also all of the people that came from Canyon. Yeah.
Okay.
So the people who came from Canyons had all paid, they paid at the conference, but they had pre-registered. The ones that say $40, those, or $30, those are the people that paid at the conference and were just people who showed up.
Oh, all right.
Because they paid more than the others. So there probably were about, 18 or so that paid in cash, except for Mario. I know Mario Escobar paid with Denise on PayPal. But there were probably others that paid on PayPal.
All right, so
can you hear me?
It sounds like we need to wait for Denise. Denise,
here.
go right ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, Mario never came by. I was looking for him and he never came by to pay.
Was he there?
Yes, he was there.
Yeah, somebody had told me he was that he was going to go to the lunch line and that he needed to pay, and I don't know what he looks like, so I just said, when you see him, tell him to come over to my table, and I had the computer ready for him to pay by PayPal, but as far as I know, he never came over. So nobody paid through PayPal at the conference.
Okay, so do we have Mario's email?
Yeah, we have his email at Mission, yeah.
Okay, because it sounds like maybe I should, as I'm trying to look, on that spreadsheet, under paid at conference, is Mario's name there?
His name is there, but it doesn't, under the payment received, there's just nothing there.
Okay. Oh, let's see, I'm looking for the one that has no payment.
He's the very last one.
Well, Mario Escobar. And then it says PayPal, but there is no PayPal payment.
Right,
okay,
he didn't
do we have
pay.
an email for him?
Yeah, go ahead.
LA Mission.
He's on the LA Mission College directory, and if you click on his name, way far on the right, you can email him.
Click on his name. Well,
when you go on that site, when you go on the lamission.edu, what you do is up top you'll see something you can click on called directory. Just click on that, and then all of the faculty and staff and everything appear alphabetically. So just go to E. Escobar, find him, go way over to the right, and there's his email.
Okay, I'm going to try to go there right now.
Okay.
Okay, LA Mission College.
If you give you an email address, it just gives you the option to email him right then and there.
So, okay, I'm at the website, Dave, for LA Mission College.
Right.
And
up top, click on directory.
Okay, there's phone directory, academic calendar, schedule of classes.
On the right-hand side says directory.
It just says
LAMC faculty staff portal.
But it's up in the top bar, just over to the right. It says directory.
Right by the search box.
Oh, right by the search. Okay, there's the search. So it's faculty and staff, right?
No,
right, but don't click on that.
Search box, it says directory. Click on that.
Click on directory. That's at the top right. It's way at the top. Just a little tiny
letters.
letters.
Phone directory?
No, it just says directory. It's right under the icon that says apply online, right next to the search button.
Okay, yeah, I see. Apply online, and
just
then
click
right
on
next.
Directory.
Okay, for some reason, I don't see that on mine. All I see is register for classes, apply online, and there's nothing to the left of that.
Okay.
Okay, here. I just posted, or I just pasted the the website address.
Got it. Okay.
Just click on that.
Got it. Now his last name is
Escobar,
what now?
with an E.
Escobar. Okay, so I just type that in. Escobar.
No, you just click on the E.
Yeah, Mario. Okay, email. Okay, email.
Way over at the right.
Okay, so I've got it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and send him a message and just ask him to please pay for the conference via PayPal, credit card. Yeah, I'll say PayPal or credit card. That's probably better than a check at this point. All right. I'll go ahead and take care of that. Why don't we go through then, in the meantime, go through the list that you gave us, Adrian, that I put on the screen?
Okay, these were notes that I was taking from our last webinar as well as what I took from the conference itself. The first thing is the PayPal. If we have a PayPal account that you want to pay with a different credit card, you must use a different email address.
I just found that out.
That's just something we need to advise people next year.
Yes, that's a good point. Very good point. We're going
to need to be very aware of the cost, because if the cost per person is more than the part-time registration, we could end up losing money.
That's true.
So
that's true, but I don't know that we could get catering for much less than 25. We were going to be paying 35 with the culinary arts people, right, David?
I can't remember exactly how much they wanted.
Yeah. And this came to 28, actually 29 a person, 28 and change per person. So I guess it does. I mean, if only part-time people signed up, that's true. But don't we have enough of the full-time probably to balance it? I don't know how much of a consideration. What I'm saying is that finding catering for under 25 a person could be difficult, just because of what I was getting when I was calling all the different caterers. But yeah, I guess we would have to be careful about that and have it as close to 25 as possible, if not less. And who knows? In other places, we might be able to find less. Which, by the way, I did send an email. I don't know if I copied anybody to the caterer explaining some of our dissatisfaction with some of the things that happened. And she apologized and said that if we used them again, that they were slammed that day, they took on too much, and blah blah blah. Not that that should make a difference in their service, which she acknowledged and said that if we ever use them again, that she'll make it worth our while. I'm not sure what that means, but I guess if we do use them again when the conference is closer to that area, then we'll find out what that means.
I got my hand up. I was just going to say that I think 25 a person we should be able to get that with most caterers. That allots $15 a person for lunch, which is a reasonable lunch price, plus $10 for breakfast, which is very reasonable. So I think we should just make sure next year to try and keep it as close to 25 as possible.
Yeah, I agree. And this was the one that I found that was as closest to 25, because the other ones were way more. And the culinary arts people, as I said, were doing 35 a person. But yeah, I mean, looking for the least expensive and still getting quality is definitely a priority.
Okay. I'll just keep going down the list. So the next thing we learned is same-day registration, that we need to charge more for same-day registration instead of just a $5 increase, maybe make it a $10 or a $15 increase. That way it will promote more people to register in advance.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, definitely a good one.
If we want ASL participation, we need to promote that much earlier. Start contacting the different schools, maybe in the spring, and saying, we'd like to know if there's going to be ASL participation so that we might hire a speaker or a translator, whatever you call it. There was the idea, I don't remember where it came from, but to include study abroad programs and job openings in the newsletters. So possibly even separate newsletters. If we send out a newsletter at some point, maybe one in the spring and one in the fall, that's specifically just like a little update, not necessarily about the conference, but giving them some other information, study abroad and or job openings. And I wrote there, possibly direct them to a link on the blog, because we want to keep the news, we don't want the newsletters to be too overbearing. So what we can maybe do is say, hey, we've put up all this information on the blog about study abroad programs and job openings. You know, check it out. Comment?
That's a good idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That is a good idea.
I think that's good.
Next point, we need to send out a save the date reminders, both in spring and during summer, to remind people about the conference. Not necessarily a full-blown newsletter with all the details, but hey, save the date.
Mm-hmm.
We learned, Lynn and I learned very early that we need to make sure water is available all day long, including the morning.
There was not enough, was there?
There was not enough water. And coffee, huge issue.
Coffee, I suggest that we plan for 2 per person for AM and 1 per person for lunch.
You know, I would even say 3 per person.
Not a lot of people are going to drink 2 cups, and I think that'll offset it. I really don't think
so. We just need more coffee without question.
Yeah. I think you're right, Adrienne. I think 2 cups per person is probably enough because some people won't drink any.
And a lot of people I saw brought coffee with them. They had stopped at Starbucks or something on the way.
That's true. True.
So I think 2 per person in the morning is good. 1 per person for lunch is good. I wrote there just an idea for myself. Gifts for keynote and or miscellaneous people. If we have somebody who does, like this time it was Dave, who went above and beyond the call of duty, to have a little gift to say thank you would be nice. This time we had plants, but next year we might think of something else.
Good idea.
And then the last thing we learned is we have to test all technology.
Yes. Yes.
The day before the conference and again the morning of. Like with Maria Carrera's thing, we should have put her flash drive in that computer and tested to see what the PowerPoint was going to look like that morning. Because then we could have, I mean, it was
the color of the font,
right? We could do about the light bulb. It was, yeah, well, there was nothing we could do about the light bulb because they weren't going to be able to change it right then and there. But we could have changed the font on her PowerPoint to all black, so that at least everything would have been visible.
Yes.
So,
right.
And then the last thing is the little Post-it notes, which was not a huge success. We didn't get many comments, but I copied down everything that was suggested. Mas Café, which that was actually mine. I wanted coffee that morning.
Mine too.
Somebody wanted information on available jobs because there's a lot of adjuncts out there still looking for jobs. And again, if we start keeping a record of that information on the blog, we can direct them to the blog and say, hey, look, there's tons of information on the blog. Go check it out. One person said better workshop topics, which, you know, that's kind of out of our control. That's I mean, if we start advertising earlier as far as we need presenters, then maybe we'll get a wider variety of topics. But, you know, the topics are what people want to talk about.
And if I could make a suggestion too, maybe Dave, well, you have so many topics on the blog, maybe we should all agree on the hottest topics or the most popular topics, and then just mention a whole list of topics in the newsletter that these are the topics that we would like to get a presenter for. If you have something to say, please let us know, and we would like to have you present at our conference.
That's a great idea.
I think so too, absolutely. Yeah, I went to one workshop that was just pretty much completely incoherent, and I kept thinking, what on earth am I listening to? So we don't want that kind of thing. We don't want people to say, you know what, when you go to CCFLC, you don't know what you're getting, and some of it is like on the moon. So, yeah, how do you do that? I don't know how you can test beforehand to see if something is, going to meet our standards. We need to have standards, I guess.
Well,
kind of hard,
It sure is, yeah. It's like
it's hard.
We need a sample of what it is. Show us what you're going to do. How are you going to involve the people that come to your presentation? I mean, in mine, I involve everybody, and I pass out stuff, and I try to make it fun and participate. Make it people able to participate in it. When you just sit there and say what's going on, it's discouraging. I mean, so we should know.
Well, I love this idea about promoting specific topics and saying, hey, we would really like to see some presentations on these topics if anyone's interested. I think that's a great way to promote a variety of topics, but I don't think there's any way that we can guarantee they're going to be good presenters. I mean, some people are really good at doing presentations and some people aren't.
It's so
true.
True.
All you can really do, I think, is ask for, you ask for an abstract, and what you can do is kind of advertise or include in the call for papers that we're a group who really, being language teachers, we really enjoy presentations that encourage participation by the people listening, and that we like interactive things, but I don't know that you can necessarily have people audition.
Yeah.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
But you know what? If they give you an abstract and it looks incoherent, then that's a red light.
Well, I don't know that we got any abstracts that looked incoherent, did we?
I can hear you guys, and but I cannot see you, and I guess you cannot see me either. It's Nereida. What we do at CLTA is evaluations. Have you done evaluations for the workshops before?
What do you mean by evaluations? You mean after the workshop is over? After the workshop is over, you give evaluations, and depending on the evaluations, we invite them back or not. Because asking for an audition and all that, I mean, as it is, we get a hard time getting presenters for our conferences. So we actually, what we do also is we ask people that work like in the same district, if we know them, about the people who's going to present. And also we based our invitations on or acceptance on evaluations from previous times.
We don't do evaluations on our presenters.
We have not done that in the past.
I noticed that, but maybe we should start doing them or something.
What do you guys think? What do the rest of you think about having evaluations at the end of each presentation?
I personally don't think so, just because these are volunteers. These are people who want to participate and want to be part of the group, and I don't want them to feel under pressure that they're going to be criticized.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. And plus the fact that we're so pressed for time that, when we do that, and it's hard enough to finish the session, and we want it to be, I think, it's my impression anyway, that we want it to be a, quote, fun, more lighthearted kind of conference, but still being able to get some valuable information. I don't know that we need to put evaluations in there.
It doesn't seem like it doesn't feel good to me. Yeah, it would be good to have that information. It just does not feel good.
Again, we could direct people back. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, again, we could direct people back to the blog and say, we would love your input and your feedback, but, try and keep it on a positive note. What were the things you enjoyed the most? What were the things that you learned from, appreciated, and if you do have some suggestions for changes, what would they be? But we certainly don't want to invite a bunch of harsh criticism.
Mm.
Right, but you know what? I think in just what you said just now, it would be valuable if we had maybe a list of kind of the guidelines for presentation, requirements for presentation, something like that, so people would know. Try to involve your make sure that it's coherent, and I don't know what else I'd put on that list, but I think maybe they should know beforehand the kind of things that we would like to see presented, and the manner in which they're presented.
I think that's a good idea, and I think again we should include that we can include it in, in general. It can just show up as part of information on the blog or whatever. You could even have a section about, how to give a really good presentation, not specifically directed at the CCCFLC conference, but just in general, if you're going to go do a presentation, here are some guidelines that will help you make a successful presentation wherever you're going to present. And then when we send out the call for papers, we can kind of recap or mention a couple of things and then also send people over to that. But I think that, you can include things in a call for papers, like we really appreciate interactive presentations, blah, blah, blah. But in terms of coherence, I have to say that, how do I say it? It's the type of thing where if you tell somebody who's presenting, it has to be coherent. If they don't already know that,
right.
Exactly.
I mean, that would be something, though, to include probably in a more detailed thing. And I think that's a great idea because, one of the things we want to provide is resources. And not everybody, knows how to present or has been trained or does it naturally. And so I think an article about what are elements that contribute to a really good presentation would be something just good to have in general.
I've written that down, and I definitely will put it on the blog, but I certainly need everybody's input because I don't think I can think of all the things that, the person needs to do or think of when they're going to present. So if you guys would, send them to me, that would be really great. Or if I just start it, then you can go on the blog and put them there. Do you know that I have been on the blog several times that not one person has left a comment?
I was gonna say, Dave, I was just looking at the blog.
Yeah.
I do see where there are places where you could comment, but it doesn't look like an outsider can post a topic.
Right, they can't post a topic, no.
Is there any way we can get that set up so that they can post a topic?
I don't think that's, it's open to everybody in the entire world right now. That it's not limited to anybody. You might get crazies out there trying to sell, fuller brush or,
sell textbooks.
Yeah, you got, so my daughter and I just opened it, and of course because of the wedding and stuff, we weren't able to refine it, and I wanted to get it open for the day of the conference. So it's there, and it's not controlled yet. But what you guys can do is, if you go on one of the topics, you just write it where it says comment, click on the comment, and say, well, here's some stuff for that, for your new entry here, your new how to give a good presentation on the blog article on the blog. Yeah, you could, if you do that.
Well, this is what I was going to say.
Info, or you can get it to me some other way.
This is what I was going to say, Dave. So this, I'm looking at the blog right now, and it's wonderful. Okay. You have all these beautiful topics, but so you need to add up, or you need to put on there a topic for, comments about the 2015 conference, or we need to add a topic, suggestions for giving a successful presentation, and then we can start the conversation going, and hopefully when we send out a newsletter we can get other people to participate in it. But you're going to have to put on, whoever's in charge of the blog is going to have to put on those topics before we can comment on them.
Well, absolutely, yeah. And also, well, I said that I would put up a couple more. I can't remember who I told this to. Maybe it was you, Kurt. Let's see. It was the one about 4 units versus 5 units. And I think we've got to take a stand, very, very strong stand, and advocate for 5 units, because I teach a 4-unit Italian at Moore Park, and it doesn't come close to getting the syllabus covered as well as the 5-unit one that I teach at Mission. It's a travesty when they do that. And then what was the other thing that I can't? I'm kind of ditzy right now. That other thing, Kurt, that we were. What was it? Well, there's heritage speakers. We need to put something about heritage learners on there. But wasn't there something else that we talked about at length at the conference that I should put an article on the blog about?
I can't think of it at this moment. I guess we'll have to pick our brains a little bit, but I can't think of it right now.
All right, maybe it'll come to me as this webinar goes on, but it's not coming to me at the moment.
One thing, well, I guess maybe you should finish talking about the blog first, and then we should talk about where to have our 2016 conference.
Real quick, Kurt, I just want to finish the suggestions from the attendees. Yeah. There's only 3 more.
Sure.
So the next one was that somebody requested time to meet in language groups. Again, that's something that is great for Spanish and maybe French, but not so great for Vietnamese and stuff. So we've got to decide if we want to do that. Somebody requested more German colleagues, so I guess we're going to have to put out
I know who that was, too.
Go to the German market and get some more colleagues and bring them.
Heidi, that was Heidi. We know that was Heidi.
Yeah, of course.
And I think all of this is a matter of earlier, just getting the word out earlier about this to everybody.
That's going to make a big difference.
Also, the earlier I think we've already determined that it's a good idea to send a save the date, and then if we can get a call for papers earlier, we can also try to especially recruit people to present in other languages.
Yes.
I think if there is somebody presenting on a German topic, we might get more people, not that people only want to come to see their language, but certainly if we could get a variety of languages. One of the things I really liked was that we did have a variety of languages in this one, but I think if we could get even, really work to have diversity in presentations, we're going to get more of a diversity in languages too.
Absolutely. I think that we can go for that in the newsletter and say, hey, there's an opening. We want a German speaker. We want an ASL speaker. So yeah, definitely if we make an effort, then we might get more people in the different. I think we would get more people.
Wonderful idea.
Yeah, there aren't that many German teachers. It's just not offered very many places in the state, I don't think. I've taken German, and when you compare what you get in German with what you get in Romance languages, sometimes it's left wanting. It's got so many grammatical points. It's so morphologically complex that you need to do different things, and most of the classes I've been in have not done the right thing, and I know what the right thing is for me, and I would like to get that across to them. I don't know if they'd listen to me or not, since I'm not, Germanist, but that sounds very, very good. That might be. How can German be taught better and make people more able to actually use it for communication? Because it's not a lot of the time.
I don't know that, we can give them a list of possible topics within the language, but ultimately it's going to be their preference as to what to choose to talk about.
Right, and they should beat the bushes themselves. They know who the German instructors are in the neighboring schools and that sort of thing, and so we should tell them, come on, if you want more Germans, you got to find them and bring them and tell them and organize something and have something there for them so they won't think, this is all about Spanish. That's what I think people may think about our conference, that it's pretty much all about Spanish. But it's not. Definitely not.
Well, like Denise said, when we send a call out for papers or presentations, we can say, hey, we would really love to have somebody from the Vietnamese community do a presentation, or we would really love to have somebody from German. Maybe we could even get our friend Heidi, is that her name?
Yes.
Maybe she can help contact some of the German instructors on our behalf and say, hey, they're looking for a German presenter. So,
do your colleges teach German?
Ours does.
Moore Park College does.
It's been for a while though, right, Denise? Didn't it stop?
Yeah, we lost it during the budget cuts, and we just brought it back in the fall of last year.
But it's a small program. I only think it's a couple of classes.
Right. Right now we're offering 2 sections every 2 sections of 180 in the fall, and then 1 section of 180 and 1 section of 185 in the spring.
Yeah, that's good. You have 2 feeder classes for your second semester. That's the only way it works out, or else you have too few students.
Just an idea, but maybe it would be useful if each of us would contact the different language instructors, especially with the smaller programs like German, and just say we would love to have a presentation in German. Would you please consider doing one at our 2016 conference?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Sometimes the personal touch like that can make all the difference.
Mm-hmm.
True.
One thing that occurred to me with the time to meet in language groups is simply, I think we need to have the official time of the conference be stretched out a bit more. And instead of ending at 3:30, maybe have it end officially at 4:30, so that from 3:30 to 4:30, those language groups that want to get together and talk will have the time and the space to do so.
You know, I think
what do you think?
Happened at Pasadena, because at the very end, I was with Lynn and Mary Ellen. We were talking about flipping the classroom or something, and then I happened upon the Spanish group, and as I walked through the glass doors and I saw them at the round table, they kind of looked up at me, "¿Quién es usted?" And what have you got to share with us? You know, and it was really kind of a pompous thing. I'm going, "Well, excuse me, I just walked in the door. You know me from Adam, you know."
Yeah, well, that's our problem, David. You and I, we kind of belong to all of them, but yet belong to none.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't see what we have to lose by having an extra hour for those that want to stay and want to talk within the language group.
That's right.
I mean, you know, it'll give, if there's any of us officers that don't want to participate in that, we can use that time to clean up. I mean, you know, it seems like a win-win to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
We can do it.
Oh, I thought of another very necessary topic that somebody could speak on: how to give a successful conversation class. I have taken conversation classes in different languages, and some of them I never got to converse in those classes, and it was really irksome, because that's why I took it in German, for example. We just read a story and we commented on it. And what I wanted to do, and I told the professor, I said, you know, what we need to do is to be able to, each one of us, you know, kind of present a little 5-minute topic and give a speech on it. And when we make mistakes, you know, note them down, and then everybody can learn from them. We can all learn from one another, but we need to talk, and we need to find out where we have the gaps, and, you know, where we need vocabulary, where we've made a little mistake in grammar or something like that. And of course, if you prepare that beforehand and kind of memorize it, you're probably not going to make that many mistakes, but at least you can fine-tune it. Otherwise, they are laughable conversation classes. Nobody seems to know what the content should be, no matter what the COR says.
That's another great topic for the blog, and also we can even put it out as a possibility for a presentation next year.
Right.
I agree.
I'm writing it down. Yeah, that's a great one for the blog.
Yes.
Just to end this, the suggestions from the attendees, to end it on a positive note, one person wrote, "I thought that this conference was amazingly, underlined amazingly, well organized." So kudos to everybody.
Did you write that, Adrienne?
I did not. It was not my writing. I wrote some more copy.
Oh, you know,
we didn't write it. Okay, none of us wrote it. That's a good thing.
I can prove it to you. I still have the note if you want.
As we were leaving, I mean, as we left, we made sure we took down all the signs, right? except for one, and it was so cool. I parked my car in the parking structure right in front of a really big, beautiful sign, and it was really. I didn't rip it down. I'm going to see how long they leave it up.
Oh, you know what? She signed her name on the back. It was Marcy Gregory McMillan, and she said this was her very first conference she's attended.
Oh, nice.
She was the one that presented on Japanese manga, and she came all the way from Sacramento. She drove with her husband.
Wow.
They left on Friday. They got stuck in the mudslide, and it took them something like 18 hours to get from Sacramento to the conference.
Right.
So yeah.
She was very.
She loved it.
She was very happy about the presence of the Japanese instructors, and when we were getting the picture taken, I know how to say "smile, please" in Japanese because I've had Japanese people ask me to take their picture on occasion with their camera, right? So I say "warate kudasai," and she says, "Who said warate kudasai?" She's so glad to hear somebody, using some Japanese, and I think that she really, appreciated the fact that we're not, excluding the languages that are taught less frequently. We're trying to emphasize them. That's in my greetings. I wanted to say a little something in their languages so that they would feel connected and everything, and I think it really worked. The Japanese ones really responded. I was really happy about that.
I would like to see more Chinese instructors show up, and I think I would like to also see a Chinese presentation or two in Chinese. What do you think?
Sure.
I think that would pull in.
Nobody's going to understand it unless you got a lot of Chinese people, Chinese instructors to attend that.
Well, my thought was that we might be able to pull in more Chinese interest if they see ahead of time that there will be a few presentations in Chinese.
Well, yeah. I mean, East has Chinese, doesn't it?
What's that?
East LA, ELAC has Chinese.
We have 2 full-timers in Chinese.
Yeah,
full-timers in Chinese, right.
We have one full-timer in Chinese.
And they're really trying to push it in the San Fernando Valley, northeast San Fernando Valley. There's a woman who's like a benefactor or something. She gives money, and she's Chinese, and I think she even was our keynote speaker at one of our commencements at Mission maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And they try and get it in the elementary schools, and they try and get it every place that she could possibly get it. So they're really pushing it there. I might be able to contact her if I can remember who she is. One of the problems with it, though, is I'll have these students in my class, and they say, "Oh yeah, we took Chinese," and they're kind of young, maybe high schoolers, or they're maybe just young freshmen, and I try and ask them what they learned and that sort of thing, and they don't seem to have learned very much at all. That's just been my experience with that. It's hard for non-Chinese. Ethnic Chinese, to actually learn Chinese unless they're just super language learners. People don't know how hard that is to learn.
Okay, so is there anything else to add to what we learned before we talk about where we're going to have the conference next year?
I sent out an email just before I signed on. It had some stuff on it that we might want to look at.
Would you like us to go through it, Dave?
Yeah. Would you please?
Okay. Why don't we go ahead and
find it and then put it up?
Dave, it looks like basically the issues you brought up having to do with the music and the pink light in the projector, it all goes back to the same thing of having to test the technology the day before and the morning of.
You know something, and you read the rest of it, I'm sure, about Terry Carter, and I really thought that it worked okay. Everything would work out okay because I really thought that I did, what was necessary with Terry in those rooms. But now I know that I have got to say, Terry, thank you for the information. Hold on, I got to try this for myself. and we got to make sure that it works.
Absolutely.
Don't just tell me it works. Don't tell me how to do it. I've got to do this, and I will definitely do that next time. Yeah. You know, I just let him bully me a little bit because I think he's burned out. He may be depressed. He's been at that job for an awful long time. People ask a lot from him. It seems like he tries to hide so that he can't, you know, be called upon, and he's just not willing. I'm so sorry about that because I wanted everything to go perfectly.
One other issue that I would like to talk about is the process of choosing a hotel as the one that we suggest for the conference. I'm not criticizing you, David, in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying that was really the only hotel that was fairly close. But it was, shall we put this, is right next to the freeway with quite a bit of noise. And so I'm thinking that maybe for this next conference, we should do a little bit more research in choosing a little nicer hotel because we will have a few people like Nereida and myself and people coming from far away who are going to want to stay. I think I'd prefer to have them stay in a little nicer hotel.
I'll tell you that the first thing that I did was to try and find a hotel that was nice and maybe a little bit close to things that were fun, like Universal City. So I went and visited a hotel called the Garland.
Right.
Beverly
I remember we looked at that.
Yeah, we looked at it. We liked it.
Nice. But the thing was, it was 13 miles south of campus. And I kept thinking and asking people, what do you think about that? They said, well, they just want a place to sleep, so just get them something that's adequate that's close to campus. But, I find it terribly depressing to go to a depressing hotel and be in the room all by myself at night and, I would have preferred to stay at the Garland and driven the 13 miles up the Hollywood Freeway myself.
I am with you on that one, Dave. I think that would have been preferable. And I think part of the problem with this hotel wasn't just the noise, it was the attitude of the manager.
Absolutely.
Very businesslike, did not want to be flexible with anything, was not willing to give us a break on the cost for conference attendees. And my feeling is that is absolutely necessary, that we have a place that's going to give us a special price because it just didn't feel right to have them be that businesslike.
Right. I think maybe Yelp, you can write them up on Yelp or some other place where you can evaluate them online and, say how you feel about that because they need to change. They're from some other country and they don't know how to treat people. They do not at all.
The other issue with that hotel was that if you walk throughout the inside of it, it is sort of stuck in the 70s. They have not updated it. Everything looks old. Everything looks just outdated, and you can just tell that they don't want to put any money into it. They just want to expect.
Welcome to the Northeast San Fernando Valley. The only thing that's new up there is Mission.
Yeah. And in any case, that's my rant for the day. I think I'm done.
I'm glad to hear it.
I just thought of one more.
What's that?
To add to the list. We need to check with the caterer for lunch a little earlier. I went downstairs because Lynn was presenting, so I went downstairs at 12:45, and I said, people are going to be down here in about 10 minutes. We're having lunch at 1, and the woman, it was her mistake. She said she thought she was supposed to start setting up at 1.
No, in fact, it was, yes. Sorry to interrupt you, but they were supposed to arrive at 12:15 is what I had arranged with them.
Yeah. So it turned out fine. They got everything set up in time. It was fine, but I just think we need to make sure. I should have thought about going down earlier, like at 12:30. Because it was cut pretty close. I actually had to help them set up. Thank goodness I've done catering before. But I had to help them set up some stuff because they were running really behind. And then I had to run to the 99-cent store to go get coffee cups because they brought more coffee than their cups.
Inexcusable.
Absolutely.
I told Laura about that, and she apologized profusely, but this was after the fact, so it doesn't help us out. But I had told her specifically what the caterer should do when they get there, where they should go, who they should contact, and they said they didn't know where to go when they got there, and they said that they did arrive at around 12:15, but we didn't see them until later, so obviously there was a glitch there, and we do have to make sure about that next time.
So whoever's going to check on the caterer, they can't present in the morning, or assign somebody else like me to go and check on the caterer.
That's a note to self for sure. You know?
Why don't we send multiple officers to the table a half an hour ahead of time, just so that one of us can go to the store if need be, another couple can help set up if need be. I think that might be good. What do you think?
I think if we're paying them to set up, we should just, I mean, technically we paid for the setup and the staff and all that, but it turns out that we still needed an officer, so it's not a bad idea to have more than one person checking. But that's another question that I have, though. With this one, we were very involved with the catering because it's David and we're all working together and we're all on the board. If the conference, and this could be a good segue into that, if the conference is held somewhere else, are the people from that place in charge of the catering, or are we in charge of the catering?
They are, I think.
If we
go ahead.
This is Nereida. If we do it in one of these years, if we end up doing it at Fresno City College, we have to hire our catering. We cannot bring food from outside. So I don't know if other colleges are the same. Yes,
even if it's Saturday, will they do it?
Even if it's yes.
What?
And it's not that expensive, but.
Is your school kosher?
I kind of wish that the catering people, that the culinary arts people would have, taken care of us on a Saturday. But if they refuse, what else can we do?
Well, it wasn't that they refused. It was that they would have to be paid, and the school wouldn't pay for it. So.
Well, regardless of who's doing the catering, we as the board have to check on them at least a half an hour before lunch occurs to make sure that they're set up and doing what they're supposed to do. And I like the idea of 2 people doing it so that if anybody needs to run an errand, they can do it, they can help out. The only thing with that is that I don't know when would be a better time to do it, but taking the picture, Denise was fabulous. She was able to Photoshop Lynn and I into the picture. And how you do that, I don't know. I don't do Photoshop. But I think that whoever's
doing my first experience with Photoshop, actually.
What's that?
Yeah.
Anyways, because Lynn and I both missed it because we were dealing with the caterers. So I don't know if we move the time when we take the photo, or
yes.
Well, we just
why don't we do that? Why don't we move the time that we do the photo? When would be the best time, in your opinion?
I would say possibly right after lunch, before people start leaving.
Well, people leave during lunchtime too. I mean.
Well, some people leave after lunch.
Yeah.
Well, then how about right before the first intercession, right after the keynote speaker?
That would work.
That sounds great.
We would have everyone's attention at that point, and everyone would be there present. We could.
You might not have the people who are going to present in that first session.
Also, the photo kind of seems like a fun thing, a thrill in a way, and people might want to just get down to business and go to that first session. I mean, psychologically, I was just thinking about it like that. Oh, we're going to have a photo? I mean, I want to go and hear the speaker.
I kind of prefer right at the end of lunch, because I think you're right. If it's right before our presentation, the presenters are going to be in the classroom setting up their technology, and they probably won't be in the photo.
Right.
I don't know.
That's true.
You know, I hate to say it, but I think where it was probably the best time, right after the first intercession before lunch, and we'll just have to make sure that the whoever's helping with the catering gets their patootie outside to take the picture.
Yeah, because after lunch is actually before the following presentation.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's no ideal time, but I think the timing was fine that we had.
Yeah,
so just a question
know how to Photoshop.
Yeah. Well, hopefully next time there won't be the problems where you have to be gone or helping the caterer, and you'll be able to be in the photo.
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, where are we going to have the conference next year? We have two choices. We have College of the Canyons in Santa Clarita near Magic Mountain, and we have, was it Santiago Canyon College? Is that, Denise, is that the name of it?
I think so.
Okay.
I would vote for Santiago Canyon and ask to do College of the Canyons the following year. I like the idea of kind of going further south this time than a little bit more north. I mean, within Southern California. That would be my vote.
I agree.
What exact city is Santiago Canyon College in?
I think it's in Orange, and I think it's kind of mid-state. Or not mid, I mean, it's more inland.
Okay. So...
Not far. For us, well, I mean, that's us. I guess it's all relative. Probably for Adrian and Janice, it's closer.
Well, yeah. So, what are the advantages?
Avenue in Orange. That's very close by us.
Orange?
Yeah, it's very, very close by. It's in the center of Orange County.
How long will it take you to go from your college to that place?
20 minutes.
Well, that's nothing. That's nothing.
I vote Santiago Canyon College.
Well, the thoughts that I had mentioned before was that we don't want to have it in the same place 2 years in a row because we're trying to expand our membership as much as possible and get people to be sort of addicted to our conferences so that every year they're going to want to go no matter where it is. And also we want to reach people in Orange County and south of Orange County towards San Diego. The fact that we didn't have anybody from San Diego was a little disconcerting for me. And I think that would change if we had it in Orange.
Because of the actual conference going to be going on down there in November. Some people probably chose that instead.
That occurred to me, that was an issue. Yeah. But I think you're right. I think that's further enough away. And also for the people that teach out in the high desert, Victorville, Antelope Valley, Apple Valley, that kind of thing. It's a little closer for them to go, just take the 15 and whatnot. I think it's a shorter drive than it is to go up to Santa Clarita. I think it's a pretty good central spot. I think we're gonna pull in a lot of people.
Yeah.
Especially
the only thing I was thinking, I like the in terms of location. I like I already said, I like the Santiago Canyon, and the two people, Elizabeth and Lourdes, they were so excited. So I think that could be good. The one thing I was kind of thinking, you know, that information that kind of makes you doubt your decision. I know that Claudia is so organized and so, what's the word? Just so on top of everything.
Professional.
That I think when we do it at College of the Canyons, it's going to be really, really well handled.
I agree. And also, she was, so hungry to have us give it there that I want to respond to her and tell her, yes, we are very interested. We would like we'd like to have it at your college in 2017. I want to give her some positive feedback but with respect to 2017.
Why don't you check with her if there's, just explain very directly our rationale that we also had an offer from a college further south, and we like the idea of kind of going south and then coming back up, and ask if there's would there be any problem with holding it there in 2017? Like, does she plan on being on sabbatical or anything like that? If there were some kind of problem, then maybe we could revisit the question.
Yes, I agree.
But if not, then we would leave it at Santiago for 2016.
So that means that I have to contact Claudia before I contact the people at Santiago Canyon College.
Right. That sounds right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then that's what I'll do. And also, Denise, I'm going to need you to send me the emails and the names of the 2 contacts at Santiago Canyon College, since you know them, because it would be harder for me to find those names and emails. And so if you could send those to me, I would really appreciate it.
Okay.
But I will contact Claudia then.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Mary Ellen wrote down below that it's true Claudia did a great job the year we met at College of the Canyons. So we've already held a CCCFLC conference there before.
What year was that?
Because Kurt, maybe you can say since you've 2007. Okay.
2007. Okay.
Maybe you could also, if you feel like her feelings are going to get hurt at all, you could say, Santiago College has never hosted a conference before. They'd like the opportunity to do so.
Yes.
She offered very quickly. We want to be very courteous to her.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Yes. Okay, so I will do that. I'll be very diplomatic, and I'll make sure that she knows that we do value her offer.
Maybe you could also do it at Fresno City College.
Oh.
Right, I was just going to point that out.
Okay, well, you know what? What we could do, we have to decide then, would we want to do it exclusively at Fresno City College, or do one in Southern California and then also one in Fresno?
That's what we used to do.
Yeah, that's what we used to do. Would that make more sense to you guys, to have have 2 different conferences on 2 different weekends?
Yeah, I mean, that's an excellent idea, because that's kind of, trying to kickstart the North again, and yeah.
Now that,
of course, would you want to run both of them? I mean,
well, what choice do we have?
Oh boy.
All of us officers would have to be there in Fresno. Are you all willing to drive or fly up there?
Beautiful Fresno.
Quite frankly, I'm
about for 2016.
Not for 2000. I think the Fresno thing is going to have to wait. I think immediately we have our sights on Santiago, and then after that,
let's get one more conference under our belt before we take on a double conference.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
all right. Okay, that sounds good.
Also, between now and 2017, we can solicit help from Northern California. I think if we're going to hold a conference in Northern California, then we need people up there who are going to help organize it, because we don't know the area.
We also need more presenters from that area.
Exactly. So I think we could keep it in mind for 2017, but we're going to have to start soliciting help from Northern California now.
Yes. Okay, so let's keep that on the back burner. It's a wonderful idea, Nereida. I think we would love to have it there, especially because you teach there, and you would be able to really help us out. I think we just need to measure our energies a bit and plan this out really, really well, so that we're able to do it physically and in every other sense. Okay, so let's see, what else did we want to... Now, the keynote presenter or presentation, we need to think about how to approach, the keynote presenter for next year. or presentation, maybe we need to think in terms of topics and then find the person, or maybe we need to think in terms of the person and find the topic that is their pet topic. How do you think we should go about this?
How did you find Maria Carrera? That was the most incredible, excellent thing.
Let me tell you that story. The National Heritage Language Foundation, which is run through UCLA, at least they have their group there at UCLA, that we have been in contact with them. They have kind of taken us at Mount San Antonio College. They have taken us under their wing, and they are helping us to revamp our curriculum for the heritage language classes. It all started because one of our colleagues took one of their workshops, and they chose her as the person that they wanted to help in her college, which was us. So we've been in contact with them. We've actually driven to UCLA and met with them. They have come out and met with us on a couple of occasions. And so that's kind of how I met Maria Carrera. And when I saw her give a presentation at our college, it was so engaging that I immediately thought in terms of asking her to be the keynote speaker. And so that is how I met her. But it is not easy to come up with the absolute best keynote speaker. And so that's why I want to kind of pick your brains and see what you think about what kind of a process we should engage in to find the ideal keynote speaker for next year.
I think the topic, Kurt, is going to, the heritage speakers, and because their Spanish has such a huge, huge presence, I think that kind of contributed. But so the question is, do we want to keep doing something that attracts Spanish? Because it seems like the majority who come to this are Spanish professors.
One thing I was thinking is
2 years ago was fantastic from Cal State. Was that 2 or 3 years ago? I can't remember.
What was the topic?
Adrian wants to speak.
Talk about.
What was it? Oh, wait a minute. Was that the guy from Vista Higher Learning, or was that the guy from Cal State Long Beach?
Cal State Long Beach, I think, wasn't that last year? We went over all kinds of statistics about what percentage of all language classes are Spanish versus French versus this versus that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was pretty good too. But Denise, you wanted to say something.
Well, I was going to say maybe we could wait and see a little bit what kinds of things come up, what kind of topics come up in the spring. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking on the one hand, at the California College or the State Academic Senate, we could see if there are any language issues. One thing that I don't know how much it's going to affect everybody, but it's the Textbook Affordability Act. And I'm wondering if that could be something that could be a topic of conversation. I think that it could be a little controversial is the wrong word, but a difficult topic, but maybe one that needs to be addressed.
Could you tell us a little bit about the Textbook Affordability Act?
The Textbook Affordability Act was signed, it was passed, and it was signed by the governor last month. Hold on, I've got a cat who will not go away.
I've got one of those cats.
Okay, let me bring it up. It's asking professors, well, there's a couple of different things. On the one hand, it's asking that professors try to be aware of the prices of textbooks. There's no mandate there, but what there is there's going to be this program that's created that, which I think actually has already, I'm not sure where they are in terms of its creation, that would try to encourage faculty to consider adopting open educational resources. So, at a time when students are paying $150 to $200 for a textbook that's used over 2 semesters that might have like a lot of wonderful components, but that's a lot of money. I think, you know, one of the things we have to look at as a profession is what are we asking our students to spend in the classroom?
Yeah.
I think it's a good topic. I think it's an engaging topic for all language instructors.
Yeah, it's something that goes across languages. Let's see. So I just put a link for you guys. This was approved by the governor on October 8th. Existing law establishes the segments of the post-secondary education system in the state, including Cal State, blah, 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 California community colleges. Ow. This bill would establish the College Textbook Affordability Act of 2015 to reduce costs for college students by encouraging faculty to accelerate the adoption of lower cost, high quality, open educational resources as defined. And let's see, it appropriates funds from the Chancellor's Office to fund the establishment and administration of the Open Education Resources Council and California Digital Open Source Library. So I think one of the things they're looking to do is in certain disciplines, like maybe the most popular disciplines, they want to recruit faculty to actually create textbooks that would be open source textbooks and then try to encourage other faculty to adopt those.
It sounds cutting edge.
Yeah. And so it would be really interesting to talk to you, let's see, in order local academic senate. It would be interesting to bring somebody in who could speak about it, maybe somebody from the Chancellor's Office or maybe somebody more geared towards specifically languages, because this is cross-discipline. It's obviously not only in languages, but languages are you know, a place where you can get very expensive materials.
Maybe even the author of this act may be willing to come to our conference and talk to us about it.
Ow. Mother. Sorry. My cat's calling me.
Is the author of this act, I didn't catch it, involved with any publishing house? Because I don't want to hear what they have to say. They're trying to sell me something.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And it's all lies.
Well, I put in the chat, I put the text, well, not the text, a link to the text, and I'm looking to see who actually authored it. It was, let's see, effective January 1. Let's see, that's the text, track bill. Let me see, I'm going back to, oh, it wants me to go, I haven't, I don't remember what my password is to get into this, but let me look at the history. Okay, so originally this goes back to February 26 is when it was first read, but it doesn't say who authored it. Because by the time it gets to where it's at now, the author won't show up anymore. But I can find out. I'll find out. I'll look for it while you guys talk.
Okay, that sounds good. Now, just the very nature of this bill runs completely contrary to the interests of every publisher on earth.
Correct.
This is not going to be, promoting any kind of a textbook. It's going to be sort of doing just the opposite. It's going to be promoting us not giving our business to the textbook companies.
Yes. Which sounds so good, honestly.
They're gouging
I'm so fed up with them.
They have been gouging us for years.
Yes.
Yes. So this might be interesting, but I think whoever said it is right. This is not necessarily the time for us to make a decision on who the keynote speaker will be, or even the topic, but it's a time for us to gather candidates as far as topics, and then maybe in the spring we can make our decision as to what the topic would be and who the keynote speaker might be,
Kurt?
and see if they are able.
Kurt?
Yeah.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Okay. I had two ideas. First of all, I think that fairly soon, after a decision is made about Santiago College or College of the Canyons, after that's all dealt with, that Kurt needs to send out a thank you email to everybody saying thank you for attending the conference, blah, blah, blah. It was successful, this and that. We'd like your suggestions on how to improve for the future. Go to the blog. In that newsletter, thank you email, we could also say, these are some of the topics we are thinking about for next year's keynote speaker. And we can give them a list of maybe 3 to 5 topics and say, what do you think about these? Do you have any other suggestions? What would you like to hear about? Please go comment on the blog. And then we could gather their input, and again, in spring we can make a decision. The other thing I was going to say is that another big topic that's kind of coming on that's going to be affecting language classes in general is the issue of online and hybrid classes. So this is a potential, how to put together, how to organize, plan, prepare an online or hybrid class, because this is really going to affect especially the HL learners. And we're going to find more and more people are going to want to take online classes for language classes. So I'm putting that out there as just a potential topic for a keynote.
Could you document those 2 thoughts and then email them to us, because that's going to help me to keep my thoughts in line. And
yeah.
I think it'll help all of us.
I will.
Lynn?
Yes. I just wanted to add to that, because many of us are going to ACTFL, so we can kind of see, what the buzz is there, if anything interesting comes up in a workshop. So we might be able to get some ideas from ACTFL as well. We should keep our ears open, and I'm assuming we're going to see each other at some point at ACTFL.
Yes, that's a great idea.
Yes. Yeah, now's the time to gather ideas, and we'll make a decision in spring.
And here's something else about ACTFL that occurs to me. If you see any fabulous presenters while you're at ACTFL, please get their name and email, and we will try to ask them if they would be willing to give a presentation at our next conference.
Exactly, exactly. And we might even get a keynote speaker, something might really talk to us. And so yeah, I think that's a good idea.
What if they charge? I mean, has anybody ever said, well, I'll do it for a fee?
Rick
say that again, David?
I wonder, are we paying, is ACTFL paying Rick Steves? Good point.
Yes, they are paying him. I'm sure they're paying him. I read somewhere about, I forget how much. I mean, with certain celebrities, I mean, you pretty much have to pay them to get them to show up. But I don't know that we want to pay celebrities to be our keynote speakers.
No. That's not what our program's about.
No.
That's not what
no.
We're not foreign language instructors helping each other out. We want other foreign language instructors as our speaker.
I mean, besides, if we were to get, Rick Steves to come to our next conference as a keynote speaker, I mean, we'd probably pull in hundreds of people, but not all of them are going to be language instructors, and I don't know that that's really what we're all about.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
although it'd be fun to have him.
Are we all going to ACTFL?
No.
I'm not planning to attend.
I am going, Nereida.
Me too.
I'm going.
And, Mario Escobar wants to drive down with me there, so I'll get to know him better and find out what's going on.
Okay, good.
And ask him to pay up.
Seriously.
Yeah, well,
you'll have him hostage in the car.
There are a couple of other issues, and now that I put them all together, I'm really wanting to find out who this guy is.
I already sent him an email, saying that his payment apparently has not gone through. Would you please revisit the payment page and take care of that.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Okay, so let's see. What else do we need to talk about?
Did you find? I don't remember what I wrote in my email to you. Do you want to put it on the screen, or just read it and see if there's anything that I mentioned that we haven't talked about?
I think Adrian summed it up.
Okay.
That pretty much we've talked about everything that was there.
Okay.
Unless you can see something that you think we haven't talked about yet.
Well, I don't have it to look at, and I'm afraid to touch the computer for fear of knocking myself off. Thing. I don't know.
The posters, Adrian, did you want to talk about the posters for next year?
Oh, the only thing okay, sure. Couple of things. One, I'm going to make a design for just the posters that you put on the ground. I'm just going to make a design. I had an idea of making an arrow with CCCFLC in it, and I'm going to have them laminated. I'll get this approved by all of you before I do it, so that we could use them year after year after year, and it'll just create a walkway to the event. I also want to work on getting a generic CCCFLC banner.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try and see if we could also get one of those ones that had that I had found that had all the foreign flags on it, and it had the word welcome in foreign languages, but see if we could get them in the correct wording. So my goal is before next year to get, you know, one banner and maybe 2 or 3 nice signs and some laminated posters that we could just use over and over and over and over again, because we don't need to keep recreating the wheel. And I even thought, like, some of the posters will be larger and they'll say, you know, welcome to the CCCFLC conference, and have a spot that we could just use a marker, a dry erase marker, to write the year of the conference right there. So I'm going to look into all that. Cool.
Fantastic.
They're just ideas in my head. So until I do some research and get some quotes and stuff, I won't have anything to tell you guys.
One suggestion, with the laminated ones that you're going to put on the ground, make sure you make a whole bunch of them, maybe up to 20 of them. I mean, we don't know how long.
I was planning about 25 or 30.
Yeah, that sounds great. That way we can make sure that
multiple paths. Maybe
are you going to put arrows on them? If you put arrows on them, you're not going to know how many you're going to need of each one, probably.
But that's okay, David, because, okay, so for example, let's just take our last situation. Let's say we had 30 of them. We could have used 10 going from the parking lot inside to the conference room. We could have used another 15 or 20 going from that other side over the bridge into the conference room. If they're spaced about 10, 15 feet apart, people are going to find their way. And so I think if we've got 25 or 30 of them, it'll be plenty. And if not, then we can hand make some extras. But the idea is to just get them laminated that they could be used. And the arrows, the beautiful thing with an arrow is if it's pointing up, you can make it point left, you can make it point right, you could, you know, it'll work.
Yeah, and Mission's a pretty compact campus, so you didn't need that many. But in another campus, you know, you may need an awful lot of them. You're right.
30 should be
the problem. Finding that
if they're spaced 10 feet apart and you've got 10 of them, that's 100 feet. Maybe that's not enough. Okay, so maybe I'll end up making 50.
Denise, did you want to talk to us a minute about what you put in the chat box?
Well, I've been putting lots of different things in, so which one in particular?
Gretchen, tell us about Gretchen.
No, well, Mary Ellen had asked, this was the textbook that was mentioned earlier. I think Lynn might have mentioned it, or Mary Ellen, that there's an open source French textbook, and this person, Gretchen, who had, she had presented it at one of our CCCFLC meetings before, and she was wondering what the last name was, so I got it. It's Gretchen Angelo, and the textbook is called Liberté. Yeah, I saw. Mary Ellen, I saw you did. And then I was just starting to look at what is available for open source Spanish. So that's what I threw in there. But Mary Ellen, I also asked you, I had a separate message that I sent you in a different chat box that's just you. So I'm trying not to clutter up this chat box with just a couple of notes about payment. So if you see down at the bottom where it says room, there's a tab. There should be another tab right next to it that might say Denise. And if you see that, if you could click on that, and then there's a question in there, and if you could answer that, that would be great.
Denise, did we ever figure out exactly how many people were at our conference?
No, but I can. Hold on. I'll go back to we had, let me see. I think there were 2 people who didn't show up. There was, one was a Italian person, Rovetta, didn't show up, and there was one other person.
But Trompetta came, he was there.
No, Rovetta was...
oh, Roberta, right, she was there.
I think you're thinking of Trombetta.
Yes, Trombetta, yeah.
So let's see. I will tell you in 2 seconds. Keep talking and I will tell you.
We don't have anything to talk about.
What are you trying to tell us with BRB?
Be right back.
Oh, okay, be right back. Okay.
You need to know your abbreviation for texting.
Yes, I do. I need to get with it.
Oh, hey, real quick thought that occurred to me.
Yes.
We didn't have the volunteers. Just one thing, volunteers that were going to help put up posters and all of that. We ended up with just Tammy. Now, I know that we had planned on having several people help us. Kemp was supposed to help us.
Right.
William Hernandez was supposed to help us. And the only one who showed up was Tammy. We just might want to make sure that next conference we gather volunteers, a list of volunteers a little earlier, and double check with them beforehand, because I felt bad that Kurt and Dave were running around putting up posters. You know, Dave really at that point, that was when he should have been around to look at the music and the technology, but he was running around putting up posters. That's when we need volunteers to help us.
That's a wonderful idea, Adrian.
Exactly. We get them earlier.
Get them earlier. Make sure we let them know what time we expect them to be there. Yes, I think that's a good idea for next year.
And possibly what tasks we expect them to do.
Oh, take a look at what Mary Ellen put in the chat box. Our total intake was 2,160, and we paid the caterer in 2014. So we made about $100.
Wow!
We covered our costs.
I'm going to be submitting some receipts for the decorations, but I'm going to return a bunch of stuff first. So hopefully it won't be too much. I think it's only going to be about $25.
Oh, we're still good.
That's not a problem at all. What other reimbursements are there going to be from the rest of you?
I just put down the labels that I bought, which we can use next time too, because I got the smallest package possible, but there were 160 of them, and they were $30. So I'll submit that receipt. But I was going to say, for those who were interested, well, do you want to finish answering that question, and then I'll let you know about the attendance?
Which question?
you were asking if anybody else had anything to be reimbursed.
Yes. What was Nereida? Did you have anything?
About?
To be reimbursed for?
No, I'm okay.
Okay. Okay. Good. Was there any? I originally talked in terms of maybe being reimbursed for the hotel, but my college is going to reimburse me for the hotel, so I do not need to be reimbursed.
Wow, the college is reimbursing you for our conference and for AXPL.
Yeah, they are really good. We have.
Yeah, you've got a good deal.
We have a good deal there at Mount SAC. Yeah, they really are generous with us. They'll give us, $1,000 or so if we need it. But in this case, I didn't need much. Well, so it sounds like we're still going to come out, at least breaking even or pretty close to it. So that's a wonderful thing. That was our goal.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow. So
that's great.
And
we still have a couple thousand. And there's still a couple thousand in the bank, right? Left over from previous years?
We still have a couple. Well, maybe Mary Ellen should talk to us about how much we still have in the bank. Over 2,000?
We still have over 2,000.
Okay, good. So that is a good cushion.
72.
Here are our numbers. We have 59 people who pre-registered, 58 of whom paid, and then we had the keynote presenter. There were 16 people who registered on site. 3 people didn't show up of those who had pre-registered, so we had a total of 72 who attended.
Wow.
That doesn't include the president of the college.
Wow.
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 Wow. Awesome.
Impressive, guys.
We did a great job.
Kurt was right. We make a really good team, you guys.
We do.
I think so.
Oh,
Dave, are you
me
there?
too. I'm amazed. I'm back, yes. Estoy de vuelta.
So what is Mary Ellen saying? I'm not counting PP.
PayPal.
What does that mean?
What's PP?
PayPal.
PayPal. So that means, now, Denise, how soon are we going to know how much was brought in through PayPal?
Right now, I just posted it.
Yes, you put it there.
Okay, so that means we have
3,100.
24 cents
well over.
PayPal?
What?
Hold on. We have, okay, in the bank account right now, we have 2,500. Is that true, Mary Ellen?
Yep.
Okay, so we have to add the 1,100 to the 2,500. So 3,600?
Mhm.
All right. Well, that's good. That's a good cushion.
Mhm.
All right. So is there any other reflections on, for example, we talked in terms of there being too much food where we would be bringing food home. What happened with the food that was left over at this conference?
There wasn't any.
There wasn't
a lot of food left over.
It was just rice.
Oh, good. Oh, wow. That's wonderful to have
Which
it come
kind of
out
makes
like
me nervous because I'm one who thinks that if there's not food left over, then there wasn't enough food. So
I know what you mean.
That's
It
just
was a little tricky because we'd run out of a few things. They ran out of, obviously, coffee. They ran out of guacamole. They ran out of something else I can't remember.
Oh, the
Black beans.
Black beans.
Black beans. But it was,
black beans.
it was close, but it was good. It was, I think we were fine.
Yeah,
And everybody got
exactly. But also we left it with 70, and so, so on the whole it was good. I would like to have seen, as I said, I don't like to run out of anything, so that was kind of.
How did the caterers deal with the vegetarian meals?
Oh, we had the grilled vegetables, and we had the black beans, which we ran out of, but we had the grilled vegetables, and we had the black beans, and then we had the rice, and then we had the regular stuff that goes on tacos, the cheese, the guacamole, the salsa, and then the grilled onions and peppers and that kind of thing.
Okay, so next year,
It was a nice selection.
maybe we need to ask for more of certain things for next year. more guacamole, more black beans?
Oh, definitely. I mentioned that already to the caterer. I went down a list on the email and said there wasn't enough of this, there wasn't enough of this, this shouldn't have happened, that shouldn't have happened. And yeah, definitely, we do.
Did you write all of that down, because that caterer may forget between next year?
I did.
Okay, good.
Pico de gallo.
So
Pico
we'll
de
probably
gallo?
be using
Pico de gallo?
There was no pico de gallo that I know of. I would have appreciated some of that.
Oh, sure.
But I'm guessing that next year there'll be a different caterer.
Yeah, it's gonna. I think that would be too far for them if we did want to use them. So
yeah, and we're probably not going to do Mexican food next year.
Right.
Probably not.
We should do something else.
Yes, we should vary it. Also, we may be forced to use the Culinary Arts Institute of that university, of that school.
Do they have one?
Well, we first
I'm not
have
sure,
to decide
but
which school.
I mean, most colleges, like my college, doesn't have one of those, but they do have a contract with a particular food provider, and we have to go through them if we want to do something on campus that involves food. So I don't know. There may be something like that.
Could be.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. That'll be one of the last things we'll need to deal with a couple months beforehand.
But last thing, but not last minute thing. So
we'll start researching in the spring. We can start researching in the spring.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Very good. Okay, so can we go over then what the next steps are? It sounds like from my end, I need to email Claudia Acosta and see if it's going to be okay to do our 2017 conference there. If she says that's fine, then I need to email the two people at Santiago that, Denise, you're going to email to me so I know who to send that to.
Right.
What else needs to happen?
And then you're going to send out a thank you email.
Oh, okay. But that's after we talk more, because you said that we need to come up with some topics that I'm going to mention in that email.
I'm going to send out I'm going to send out an email to all of us. Everybody put your thinking caps on and add topics. Now we're looking at more general topics, not language specific topics. We're looking at general topics for keynote speaker. Something that could be an interest to everybody. And let's give Kurt some ideas to include in his thank you email.
Okay.
And I'll put some other things. And then the only other thing that has to happen next is Dave needs to update the blog.
Right.
There were two things, and I didn't write them down. One is comments on the 2015 conference.
Got that.
Comments and suggestions. And the other one is
how to
topics you'd like to see. Topics you'd like to see in 2016, specifically for the keynote, so that when Kurt directs them to the blog, there's a place for people to make their comments.
Right. And I have a couple of questions about the website, etc. I'll be posting all of the materials that people have sent me. That'll be done by this weekend. One question is, do we post those also on the blog or just on the site?
You're talking about the PowerPoints from the presenters?
Yeah. That's going to be more a website, right?
I don't know. I don't see any problem with putting those on the blog also, but how do the rest of you feel?
Or at least maybe once I get it up, Dave could put something on about if you wanted materials, kind of directing where they should go to get them, or he could put them up on the blog, either way.
Tell me again what those materials are.
Well, like the PowerPoints that from people's presentations.
Yeah, so that they could just click on those and see the whole presentation, whatever. Yeah.
Right.
Denise, what PowerPoints have you received so far?
I have gotten from, let me go to my, I think I got, let's see, PowerPoints. I have the ones from Maria Carrera.
Okay.
I have Nereida sent me her stuff.
Okay.
I have, she sent me a bunch of stuff. Thank you, Nerida. I have the study abroad presentation.
Oh, good.
And the information about the CCCIE.
How about the Japanese one?
That I don't have yet, but I can write to her and ask her to send it.
That would be
Dave,
wonderful.
I don't think I have it. I don't have anything from you, Dave.
Oh yeah, Dave, that's right. You have one too.
What did I have? I'm sorry.
You have the your PowerPoint for your presentation?
Oh no, I just did it off the cuff. I mean, I wouldn't even know how to do that, so I have to be instructed on how to do a PowerPoint if I'm expected to put them up.
Oh, don't make a PowerPoint if you didn't present one. It's only for those who already presented one.
Yeah. And if you have a Microsoft Word document, that would be sufficient. Just
what? You mean the handout that I gave out, or what?
Yeah. If you have a Microsoft Word document for that, that would be enough to put on the website.
It's all in Romanian.
Well, that's the idea.
Speaking of the website, I have a question. Denise, I've got to get the pictures to you that I took.
Yeah, I need to get pictures from, well, this is the thing. For the Facebook page, anybody can post. But if there's specific pictures that you want me to post on the website, it's helpful for me if you send me the pictures and let me know what they are, especially if there's something I didn't attend.
Okay.
Like if you could provide like a little caption or a little description that you'd like me to include, that would be great.
Okay, otherwise I could just post them on our Facebook page.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And if there's any that are especially interesting, then I can grab those.
Okay.
The other thing, I had a couple of questions in terms of the website. One of the things I'd like to do this year is get the website independent from Orange Coast College. Like right now, it's all of the stuff is just sitting on a server, which is why, you know, I bought the domain address cccflc.org, but once it's a virtual address right now, once you go to that, it pushes you over to the real place, which is, if you've ever looked, it's like a longer URL that says faculty, D. et cetera, et cetera. And so I'd like to actually get a, you know, sign up with a company and move the site off of the Orange Coast College server so that it becomes its own entity. And once that happens, then the cccflc.org domain name would actually become the main URL. So you'd go to it and it would stay there, and the conference page would just be cccflc.org/conference instead of changing over to this other URL. I'm imagining, just from my experience, that would probably, the space would probably be between $50 and $100 a year. And I'd like to eventually, like the domain name, I have it, like I own some domain names, and I just have that as part of one of the ones that I own, and I'd like to move it over to be owned by the nonprofit so that, you know, if anybody else wants to come in as social media director, webmaster, they need to be able to access those things without having to come through my college. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's something I'd like. Go ahead.
I'm just thinking that in order to make sure that we cover the cost of that, we may have to increase the conference cost by $5 per person. What do you guys think about that?
I don't know about that because well, let me check into how much it's going to cost to have a site. But I did the same thing with another group that I was working for. And I think we ended up getting like an educational price. I think it was like $60 a year. So that would be like, you know, $1 per person. but I don't know that it would. It's per year, and then maybe like $10 or $15 for the domain name. So it's probably going to run less than $100 a year, but I think it is something that eventually would need to be moved to an actual company, because like if anybody else came in and started doing this, they wouldn't be able to. Like nobody else can post stuff onto this site because it's run through my faculty site. I guess I don't know how to explain it. It's a special space we have at OCC. It's not even the regular faculty sites. It's kind of like this extended access that some faculty have, but like nobody else would be able to take over, and all this stuff is on that site. Whereas if I moved it to an actual company, a web hosting company, then you know, if somebody else wanted to be able to upload things also, or eventually if somebody wanted to take over, then I just give them the logon information and they take over.
Would it be appropriate for our blog to be on that new site also?
No, the blog is on its own site. Adrienne has something she wants to say.
Okay.
I was just thinking, actually, this is something I was thinking about a little earlier, is right now we have 3 different online pages. We've got the website, we've got Facebook, and we've got the blog. And I was wondering if there's any way, would Facebook be sufficient for what we have on the website? Because, well, I guess not everybody has a Facebook account. I'm just thinking if we're spread out between 3 different online sites, people might get confused as to where to look for information. I wish there were a way that we could get it down to just 1 or 2 websites.
Well, if we wanted to go that way, either kind of integrate, we could virtually integrate the blog and the website, or probably the information that's on the website could be transferred to the blog fairly easily.
If we could
also have a link
that everybody goes to that website for the information, I think that would be great. But I don't know if it's going to clutter it up too much.
Right.
Why not just have the website and have a link to the Facebook page and a link to the blog, so everybody could go to those places easily?
Yeah. Let's look at how the blog develops, because often the website is almost more of a, what would you call it?
Repository?
Yeah, more like a repository, whereas the blog, I think, is striving to be more of an ongoing conversation, which in a way the Facebook is too.
Okay. So we need separate.
Yeah. But I think it's a good idea to.
It's okay.
I think we can at least keep an eye and try to actively seek a way to bring coherence between them as much as possible. To link to each other, to you know, to have frequently, if you're interested in this, there's a conversation going on right now over at the blog, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, if they're linked up and we give them links to each other and say, you know, you could also check us out on Facebook, you could check out our blog. If you want conference information, go to the website. We just need to keep them connected somehow so that people don't get lost.
Right. Right.
Can I insert something here?
Yeah.
I didn't look at the blog yesterday or today. I haven't seen it, and nobody seems to have commented. If you guys can go on there and start commenting a little bit, maybe that will encourage other people to do that.
It's on my to-do
and
list.
I'm going to try and. Huh?
It's on my to-do list.
Oh, good. Thank you. And I'm going to try and write, you know, these articles, you know, for these new topics that we have brought up today as soon as I can. It's just that with all the stuff,
Mary,
but I have such a pile of papers to correct right now. I don't think I can do it until sometime at the beginning of the new week. But
David,
I'm very interested in getting those up.
David,
and see what people have to say about it. Yes, ma'am.
Over in the corner where it says most recent topics for discussion.
Yeah.
At the very top of that, did you just add 2 links? And you don't have to write a big thing about it. We could just start the conversation. It could be something as simple as 2015 CCCFLC conference, comments and suggestions. Boom,
okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then we could start the conversation.
Excellent. Then I don't have to write something, interesting and try and pique people's, imagination and stuff like that. No, I don't have to. Okay, good. Just in other words, provide a place for you guys to make your comments. Okay.
We need 2 of them, David. One for 2015. Comments and suggestions.
Right.
And one for 2016. What topics would you like to hear for the keynote, or just say 2016 topics.
2016?
And then we can start the conversation saying, what kind of topics are you interested in for the keynote and or the intersession presentations?
Right.
And we can start the conversation going. You don't have to write a big thing about it.
Okay.
Just give us those 2 titles, those 2 links, so we can start the conversation.
Great. Okay.
All right.
Also, I'm just sending a reminder, Dave. You can add Nereida's info onto the officers page. Right now it's still showing up that the secretary post is open.
Right, I know that, and I just have to ask my daughter how to get in there.
I saw that too.
And you can get that information from the CCCFLC page, which I will send you the link to.
Okay.
All right, so maybe we should start thinking about when our next webinar will be and what we need to do between now and that next webinar.
I think it should be after the actual conference. I think it should be after the
actual conference.
So that people could comment on that.
What's the date?
21st, 2nd of November.
November. Maybe we should also connect to try to find each other. Should we make a plan, or are we just going to run into each other?
No. Let's make sure we find each other.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm looking at my calendar right now. So you said it's November 20th, 21st, 21st, and 22nd. Right. So how about if we have our next
Friday is after Thanksgiving. It's the day after Thanksgiving. People might be out of town.
The 27th is the day after Thanksgiving?
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe we should postpone it till the 4th of December? Friday the 4th of December?
That's good.
That's good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can do that.
And that's what I'm going to jot down.
Yep.
Friday the 4th of December.
And between now and then, we'll work on the blog. We'll work on, Denise can investigate what it'll take to set up a different website. I can do my posters and banners and stuff.
Is 9:30 a good time for all of you?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes,
for me.
It's fine.
Okay. Why don't we do that? That seems to work. All right. So 9:30 then, Friday, December 4th. And let's see. I need to send out a few emails. And I guess, Adrian, you're going to send something out to us to remind us what to do between now and then?
I will.
Okay, good.
I'll probably send it out to you today, if not sooner.
All right. Is there anything else to mention before we call it a webinar?
Nope.
I don't think so.
I'll be right back.
I guess that was Adrian. Great. All right. Well, this has been wonderful. This whole process has been wonderful. I mean, I don't know. Everything has flowed so well, and we work so well together. that I think this next conference is going to, we're going to outdo ourselves without even trying too hard.
Yeah, I feel the same.
I just have this feeling that it's really going to be a success. In fact, we may have to plan for more like 100 people at this next one, the way we're going.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Well, that'll be fine. We probably don't want it to be too much beyond that, but I don't know how we can control how many people show up or respond.
Why wouldn't you want it to get bigger, Kurt?
No, we don't necessarily want it to get bigger and bigger and bigger. We probably want to keep it within certain limits, but if we put out the call and we get 100 people that are interested and show up, I mean, we're not going to turn them away.
Of course.
I don't think we need to worry about that right now.
No, right now we have specific things to worry about.
Let's just enjoy the glow of a well-done conference, pat ourselves on the back, and
yes.
start getting ready for next year.
Adrian, I am basking in the afterglow. Okay, that sounds really good. So, all right, good webinar, everybody.
Okay,
and I will see all of you on the 4th of December. I guess in the meantime, then we need to think about visiting the blog and putting some ideas on there. And
we'll be emailing.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, everybody, have a good week.
All right,
bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
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 Bye-bye. Take care.